Okay, good morning, evening, good afternoon, depending on what time you're watching this. And today we're just going through some three very basic and simple ways to actually increase your win rate. So if you're looking for anything between 80 to 95 percent win ratio, okay, depending on the strategy that you use, of course, then this is definitely the video for you, right? So the name is Anele from Amplified Trading. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content, guys. So let's start off with the most basic and most obvious one, right? Which is to really just firstly increase the amount of pips that you have in your stop loss. So if you have a stop loss that is extremely tight, I mean, a lot of static in the market will take you out. Okay, so you might get a scenario where the market just drops, okay, and there's a pink. Okay, so it just drops about 20 or so pips, and if your stop loss is too tight, the stop might get triggered, say for example here, and the market might end up reversing back in your direction. Okay, so this is obviously against the trend, and it will happen, right, to you at some point. Right, if it hasn't happened already, I'm telling you right now that it will happen to you at some point. You will be right in the directional bias of the market, but having a tight stop will mean that you are tagged out, right? The stop loss is triggered, and then the market heads in your intended direction. And of course, you lose out on both ways, meaning that you lose out on the money you would have made, firstly, and secondly, the amount of money that you lost when your stop loss was triggered. So it is sort of like a double whammy. So the one basic, very simple solution is to find a way to increase your stop losses in order for them to accommodate for, I can say, this sort of like mishap that does happen in the market. Okay. Now, the second thing you can do is to have smaller take profits. Now, this is something that it's sort of like a trade-off. I've spoken about this before, but it's a sort of trade-off that you make between having a really good risk-reward ratio, okay, which is, let's say, 1:3. So for every $100 you win, right, you're risking $100 rather, you win, let's say, 300 US dollars. Okay. Now, when you're making or when you have smaller take profits, it's more likely that just your take profit will be triggered. However, okay, you might have a very skewed risk reward ratio. But if the win ratio is really high, then it doesn't really matter. I know guys who traded like that, who are trading like that, and I myself can do that. Right? Especially when it comes to scalping rather than swing or position trading. But as a short-term strategy, it can be a very effective to have, let's say, instead of a 100 pip take profit, you will have a 20 pip take profit or stop loss rather, and a 10 pip take profit. So you know you're more likely to trade and reach that 10 pip take profit rather than now. Okay. And I do believe the third one you can sort of like employ in your trading is to actually trade less, right? The more you trade, the more you risk your capital, and the more likely it is that you're going to have a losing trade. So what you want to do is to have as least amount of trades as humanly possible and be as picky as humanly possible. Okay. So one part of that could be to employ a strategy that is based off the higher time frame, even if you are scalping and looking for short-term opportunities, but your strategy does sort of like check down and take into account the larger time frames, and those larger time frames will keep you out of a lot of trades, okay, rather than smaller time frames which will continually probe you to trade in and out the market. Okay. So just to briefly recap, the first thing you can do, as I mentioned, is to increase your stop loss, right? So put it in the position where it's least likely to get tagged, right? So I'd rather you have that because it's a lot more helpful, especially in the learning phase. As time progresses and you're consistent, you can then decrease your stop loss accordingly. And the second one is to take smaller profits, right? So you want to take consistent profits and smaller profits. These will help you sort of like build your confidence. And third part of it is to trade less, right? Don't try to be active in the market, right? So wait for opportunities to basically come to you. Now, all of these put together can produce for you a very consistent income. But here's the side note though. What you need to remember is that with this is not going to work for every single person. All right. So this will specifically work for the person who I can say prefers to have a whole lot more winning trades than losing trades. Right. So psychologically, it works better for them. It increases their confidence and it also increases their performance all around, essentially. So, like I mentioned, if it works for you, then do it. Right. If it doesn't, then don't. Okay. So don't forget to subscribe, guys, and yeah, you can join our free training group in the description below, right? Just click on there. It'll take you straight through to the Telegram channel. And trust you guys have a wonderful day. Cheers.